The House That Called Me Back. Part 1. The Letter. It started with a letter. A real one, the kind written by hand, in shaky cursive, on yellowed paper that smelled faintly of mildew. I found it tucked inside a stack of old bills in my apartment mailbox. No return address. Just my name, printed in small, careful letters, Ethan Cross. I hadn't seen that name written out in years. Most people just called me. That was how I liked it. The past stayed buried if you stopped speaking its name. But something about that enveloped old-fashioned wax seal, the familiar handwriting, gun-stilled me. Inside, the message was short. Ethan, your father is dead. You must come back. The house won't let go until you do. That was it. No details. No apology for the silence of nearly 2 decades. No explanation of how they even found me. I stared at the letter for a long time. My father had been dead to me since I was 12. He was a drunk, a man with eyes like empty wells, a man who shouted at walls and once locked me in the root cellar for talking back. When I left for good. But that line, the house won't let go until you do, it clung to me. I tried to forget it, tossed the letter into the trash, but I couldn't sleep that night. Couldn't the night after either. Something gnawed at me. Not guilt, something else. Like a whisper just under the skin. On the 4th night, I booked a flight. Back to that town no one remembers, off a road no one takes. Back to the house I hadn't seen in 21 years. Part 2. The house. The house hadn't changed. It still squatted at the end of the long dirt driveway, half hidden by gnarled oak trees, their branches reaching out like fingers too thin to be alive. The paint had long since peeled. The shutters hung loose. The porch sagged like it was tired of holding the place up. I didn't bring a key. Didn't need to. The front door creaked open with the slightest push. Inside, the air was stale, heavy, as though the house had been holding its breath for years and only now exhaled. Dust blanketed everything. The furniture remained just as I remembered. The green armchair with a cigarette burn on the armrest, the grandfather clock that never worked, the cracked mirror in the hallway that always made my reflection look a second too slow, and the stairs. God, the stairs. I stood at the bottom, staring up into the darkness above, and felt a chill trace my spine. I used to have nightmares about those stairs, about something watching me from the top, something that moved only when I blinked. I shook it off, went room to room, checking windows, turning on lights that mostly didn't work. It was a mausoleum now, a time capsule full of stale air and bad memories. Then I found the note. It was on the kitchen table, weighted down by a rock. The handwriting was the same as the letter. You're not alone here. The house remembers. Go to the attic. Part 3. The attic. I almost left right then, but something pulled me forward. Not curiosity, not fear, something deeper, like gravity. The attic door was still in the ceiling of the upstairs hallway. I had to stand on a chair to reach the string. When I pulled, the letter unfolded with a groan loud enough to wake the dead. Dust rained down. The smell that drifted out was wrong, like old wood and rot and something sour underneath. I climbed up. The attic was bigger than I remembered. Or maybe I was just smaller the last time I saw it. My flashlight cut through the gloom, revealing boxes, broken toys, newspaper clippings, and scratches. Dozens of long, parallel scratches along the beams. Deep, angry, and a drawing pinned to the wall. It was a child's sketch. Stick figures. One small, one large, a house, and something else. A shape in the window, all black. Underneath, in shaky crayon letters, he lives in the walls. Part 4. The walls. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed in a motel 15 miles out of town, staring at the ceiling while the drawing burned itself into my mind. He lives in the walls. I didn't know who he was. I didn't want to. The next morning, I returned to the house. The front door was open. I swore I had locked it before I left. Inside, the air felt colder. Not winter cold. Empty cold. Like all warmth had been drained away. Something had moved. I noticed it immediately. A chair was no longer under the kitchen table. The hallway mirror, its crack was longer, reaching the bottom now like a spider web. But most of all, I noticed the sound. Scratching. Faint. Almost like breathing, coming from inside the walls. I pressed my ear to the paneling. Silence. Then movement. Slow, dragging. Something large. Something that didn't care if I heard. In the basement, I found a door I didn't remember. Narrow, padlocked, but the lock hung open. Inside was a room that had never existed when I was a child. The walls were covered in newspaper clippings, stories of missing children, murders, fires, and in the center of the room a single mattress, rotting, stained. Next to it another note. He's been here the whole time. He needs someone new. Part 5. The tapes. I returned to the attic, drawn by something I couldn't explain. It wasn't just the notes. It wasn't the scratching. It was the sense that something had been waiting not to be found, but to be remembered. In the far corner, beneath a moldy tarp, I found a cardboard box. On the side Cross 1998. My name. The year I left. Inside, cassette tapes. Dozens of them. Each labeled in my father's handwriting. Session 1. Ethan Night Terrors. House response. I brought them down to the kitchen and dug out a dusty old tape recorder from the drawer where he used to keep batteries and broken things. I slid in the first tape. Click. Silence. Then static. Then, my voice. I was maybe 10 years old. I hear him again. In the walls. He wants me to come play. My voice trembled. My father's voice answered. Calm. Clinical. What does he say to you? A pause. He says he's hungry. Click. I ejected the tape. My hands were shaking. This wasn't therapy. This was documentation. My father hadn't tried to help me. He was studying me. Studying it. I played the next tape. More of the same. Me describing dreams, voices, cold hands on my feet in the night. And always the sound of scratching in the background so faint I almost didn't hear it. Until I did. And then, one tape ended with a final note from my father. If I go missing, it's because I got too close. The house is not haunted. It's alive. It feeds. And now it wants Ethan back.